So I did a reading on the indigos yesterday. Reading probably cost about, in credit, it probably cost me about, I'd say about $300 in credit, maybe. Very low. It didn't really cost me a lot because I was experimenting. However, that $300 ended up turning into over $1,000 in credit, believe it or not, last night. So I want to give everyone that participated in the Bulls. It was the Bulls versus the Pacers. Is how it was generated, and where it was generated from, and that led me into this new information that I want to put out, because I see sports, like I was talking about on a couple episodes back, as units, numbers. I don't get caught up into personalities, who's winning, who's losing, who did this, who did that, unless it is a part of the play. And each player, the number on their jersey, how many points they scored, how many hours or minutes they sat on the bench, is all a part of the play. And I won't go into that here. However, I just want to talk about what I discovered from my reading, which was what's going on with the astrology flag, is what I call it. And some of you may call it the conscious community, or, it's different so-called splinter groups and different spin-offs, but I call it the astrology flag for different reasons. And I'm not going to go into that, why I call it that. I mean, you can watch other episodes to understand that. But the astrology flag is essentially what these so-called teachings are to me. This is the astrology flag. And where we're going to move into, based on what I saw that's going on with the Indigos last night with these scores, is that I think that I need to kind of do a lesson on what it means to be caught in the middle of something. I think this resonates with the number 11 and the letter K. I think it's a good segment in the series, so I'm going to go ahead and deal with that, because I realize that the Indigos are a generation and a group of people that are caught in the middle of something. However, the Indigos are now turning over into a different age group, a different generation now. They're moving out of being children and young adults and moving into being elders. And what's happening is that the Indigos have some negative misfits in their way. Some of them are older, some of them are younger. And when I say Indigos, these people that are Indigos are born between like 78 going up until like about 88. I'm 98, excuse me. Somewhere between like 78 and, no, not 98, excuse me, about 78 to about 91 maybe, tops. I have charts, and I can give you exact numbers in the future because I've done a lot of readings on this. It's based on certain star alignments, but I just want to kind of talk about the problem, because the Indigos are caught in the middle. I don't think I want to address too much of it here. I just want to kind of put that aspect of it out because it is serious. It could lead to what I call World War IV if this doesn't get settled, because the Indigos come from an energy of Pluto and an energy of, I guess you could say, a very strong patriarchal type of energy, believe it or not. And they have some issues. They got some older people in their way that come from more of the Andromedan type of energy, transsexual, transgender type of energy. And then they have some younger Indigos going into some of these crystal children that are in the way and don't realize it yet, but they're going to realize it soon if this problem gets bad. So what I decided to do to kind of just remedy it so that it doesn't get too bad, because this could lead to a world war. Seriously, it's that deep. I mean, it's tied into the virus. It's tied into the previous president. I'm not going to mention any names. It's tied into the current president. And it may even tie into the next two presidents if not solved. So I think that the astrology flag needs to go ahead and start to finance for real, versus doing all of these readings for people and they're not really taking the information on a spiritual level and helping themselves out of situations. They're just going deeper into the problem, believe it or not. And the problem is dealing with this experiment that I was telling you about that goes back to Philadelphia, Social Security, sex. There's a lot of stuff tied into this problem. So what's going to have to happen is that I, as the, as an astrologer, if I see something as an eye, one of the main eyes out here, it's my duty to put it out there. So I believe that, or what I'm going to do is to begin to operate in what's called a third-party perspective. I'm going to always make videos. It's not about videos. But when it comes to doing a lot of these readings and putting out a lot of information on a personal basis, I think that needs to kind of stop. And I need to kind of start to do group readings. I need to get into electional astrology and show you guys how much money truly astrology is generating and helping people with. And not only that, go ahead and finance a lot of these entities and people that are kind of in our way as indigos, and kind of put them off on their way, in a nice way, not in a negative way, so that it doesn't have to lead to a war. Go ahead and give them, give them some money, I guess, is what I'm going to have to go ahead and do. You know what I'm saying? Give them some finance and a little bit of interest and profit, and let them see what they can do with that. Because astrology is operative more so than it is speculative. It's not about just talking, and that's the problem. We have a lot of people out here right now that are doing a lot of talking and a lot of boasting, and there's a lot of ego. I see, especially in dealing with these sports. And that's why I'm choosing sports, and I'm going to use the astrology flag and invest into sports, because I think this is a good arena. It's very lucrative. Well, it can be very lucrative. It's actually not as lucrative as it used to be. However, it could be very lucrative, and it's where a lot of our minds are trapped at. So we're going to start there and show you how all of these units are telling a story and a play. So this last hand was talking about indigos are caught in the middle of some stuff, man. It goes back to the De Beers company getting sold back in 2011, going up into the Boston bombings, going all the way up into the virus now. It's a shift taking place, and if we're not careful, we're going to be wiped out. The indigos are. So I'll come up with more. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. I'll drop some more. I'm going to go ahead and invest into this new. I did make a profit. I want to thank you guys for that. I do want to talk about my units. I was able to turn again over a couple $1,000s in profit off of a very small investment in credit, and I was even able to come out with some cash. So thankful for that. Came out with about $100 in cash. Well, actually, excuse me, came out with about $200 in cash off of yesterday's hand. So we're going to get into today. I'm going to keep this coming. As always, stay tuned, subscribe. I am booking readings, but it's a hold for 2 weeks. So if you pay for a reading, it is a hold for 2 weeks because of what I'm going through right now with this process of trying to move these readings into the popular culture sector. So thank you all for listening and watching. Stay vigilant. Have a good day. Namaste. Peace.